Hello everybody. So this video is entitled MSTR stock $2.5 billion raised. And the buy that was announced, the skyscraper-sized dot was a fair warning, and I really appreciate the warning. You know, the bears, I think, appreciate that warning quite a bit. We have bought 34,000 Bitcoin. Now, I'm very happy about that because yesterday I had said 30,000. I had been talking about this $30,000 buy for like 3 weeks, essentially, and we finally got it. So I'm very, very happy about this. MSTR is a fundraising machine for Bitcoin. This is a pro-Bitcoin company. Saylor is helping Bitcoin, like Bitcoin, by the way, has helped Saylor in the early days, and Bitcoin, of course, has saved Saylor's company. You may remember the early days, why he got into this strategy. Let's talk about the buy. So, like I said, he warned us last night. I think these warnings are becoming increasingly important for the bears, right? It's like, imagine if you have a short position or something. Like, imagine something like that. You could take a short position, a long short position, and you get a buy like this, right? It's like over the long run, this is going to be a weighing machine. And you see, it's the courteous thing to do to give these warnings. I also want to say, of course, the yield to date is 9.5%, and we are in April. We're on April 20th, and the yield to date is 9.5%. What is the yield going to be at the end of the year? Will it be something like 20%? Think about that. Accumulating 20% more Bitcoin than at the start of the year for MSTR stock. That's the key difference between MSTR stock, of course, and a Bitcoin ETF. A Bitcoin ETF doesn't acquire more Bitcoin for you. MSTR stock acquires more Bitcoin for you. This is why that if MNAV stays flat, or even worse, if MNAV stays at 1 for years, and we have MNAV flat at 1x for years, the stock still accretes. It still accretes thanks to the Stretch ATM. And the Stretch ATM is really what has shined. So I happen to believe that he should also do the common ATM. And I got rewarded today because my beloved MSTR common ATM is back. Dilute me, please. Wink face, because of course, if you follow this stock, you know full well that you're not being diluted when he prints MSTR stock. You are not being diluted. He's printing $100 for $125. A $100 bill sold for $125. And I'm pleased to see that he raised $366 million with the common ATM. That's good any week, and I'm very happy about that. I hope he picks back up on the common ATM, and that's, to me, still an essential part of the thesis, especially as he needs to acquire permanent capital. He needs to acquire permanent capital to back Stretch, right? The BTC rating on Stretch. How much more BTC do you have backing Stretch? It needs to be about a 3x. That extra BTC backing Stretch needs to be acquired through other means. And that means, by the way, is the common ATM. The common ATM is the successful fundraising machine that made Strategy. But Strategy is in a transition phase, and Stretch is it's going to be a bigger story going forward. It's in a transition phase. So let's talk about Stretch. Stretch, he raised $2.17 billion. 2.17 billion actual raise. This is it's unfathomable. It's impossible to comprehend for a TradFi investor. For the normie, it's impossible to comprehend. For the normie investor, the normie YouTuber, 2 billion. Think about that. Most IPOs do not raise that. Like, most IPOs do not raise that. In fact, if you raised 2 billion in an IPO, you would be one of the most successful IPOs of the year. Most IPOs do not raise 2 billion. He raised 2 billion in not a month, not a week, but in 2 days. Two days. Think about that. Tuesday, April 14, Monday, April 15. In 2 days, he raised 2.1 billion. Of course, this is Stretch.live. Stretch.live was off. Stretch.live was estimating, how much? Was estimating 1.7 billion. Or sorry, 1.27 billion is what Stretch.live was estimating. 1.27 billion, the actual was 2.17. So Stretch.live still not capturing the difference. I would have assumed that Stretch.live would get better over time. It will over time. They all will over time. By the way, someone tweeted at me on X talking about Bitcoin for corporations. I might look at that one. There's actually 4 competing websites that are trying to figure out Stretch and how much is the daily issuance of Stretch for people who want to track it, which, I obviously want to track it. This interests me. There's nothing as amazing than to track the Stretch success live, right? And that's why I like Stretch.live, the yield terminal. I have a spare screen. I put it on a spare screen. I have a lot of screens, but it's just one of my screens. And it just feels good to see that. It's so much better than CNBC and the fear-mongering 24/7. It's so much better to see our stock, our company do so well. I'm very pleased. Anyways, it's the 3rd biggest purchase ever. The 3rd biggest purchase ever. If you go, of course, on strategy.com and you go on the dashboard, you look at purchases, you will see this is the 3rd biggest purchase ever. It's bigger than anything in 2025. It's bigger than anything in 2026 so far. It's not as big as, of course, late 2024, when the markets were very pleased with Bitcoin and the direction of the United States, etc. The markets were excited in the end of 2024. Now that has changed a little bit. The markets are fearful again. But, we had 6 months of reprieve back in the late 2024. That's why he was, I'm still thinking about, that 55,000 Bitcoin buy. You may remember that buy. That was an insane buy in November of 2024. We'll get back to these days. It's mandatory. We'll get back to this day. It's obligatory. We will. We absolutely will. As we scale, we will get back to these days. The fact that on a random April week we're able to do a top 3 ever buy. To me, this record will be broken. The late November record will be broken. Anyways, STRC right now still recovering from the third attack. The third attack towards the end of the week, last week, was violent, but it's recovering, 99.42. My guess is, tomorrow or Wednesday we're back at 100. That's my guess. But the aftermath of the thud needs to go away, and typically a thud piece, my experience tells me, typically lasts 7 to 10 days. A thud piece typically. Right, that's what you see for short sellers. Like whenever a short seller releases a piece, like the stock drops 7 days, 8 days, and then the market forgets. The market has a short attention span. The market has also a shorter attention span than ever. And that's a good thing when it comes to third attacks. So anyways, Stretch will recover. And I will conclude with the state of Bitcoin and the state of the markets right now. So of course, as you know, Iran news still going on. I'm still absolutely not interested by the Iran news. It's just that, unfortunately, the market is forcing us to follow it. Because of this Iran news, Bitcoin dropped quite a bit overnight. It recovered to 75K. I am happy about 2 things. I'm happy to see the fear and greed index being back into neutral. We had got into greed. I believe extreme greed will come, but not yet. Please, not yet. Neutral is good. I just want to have normal markets for a few months. That's all I want. And I personally like the price action of the market today. Of course, some tensions in the Middle East. I don't really care, like I said. It's not a piece of news that interests me. But they have brought the markets overall back down a little bit. And I believe that's healthy. We have, small down days. I'm hoping we get a few small down days this week. Let's be flat this week. Let's take a breather this week, right? Because the past 2 weeks, the market has ran almost too far. It's run very, very fast. We need to breathe. I want to breathe. Let's stay flat. Let's enjoy our time before the inevitable rally. But for me right now, I want to see that breather, and I'm happy to see that stocks are taking a pause today. That's important. So, anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you're entertained. Please please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.